it was like a $350 repair, nothing very big.
Exactly.
But the total here is, I mean...
That number doesn't come up, or that additional doesn't come up.
I mean, that's the total of
Outstanding.
everything outstanding plus the interest from 1988. So,
County attorney wanted to
We'll call the meeting to order. Minutes of the last meeting.
I'll move to approve minutes.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All ayes. Minutes have been approved. Do we have anything to add or delete?
No. I'll move to approve the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Agenda has been approved.
That's citizen input you can ask for.
Pardon?
That's citizen input, we had put that out there if anyone had anything on
Anything for citizen input?
Anyone contact you guys between meetings?
Not so far.
I got a contact from the Wall Lake Council about that.
Yeah.
You want to handle this drainage?
Sure.
Before we call Calhoun, how long will that take?
shouldn't take long. They have this sheet, just like you guys do, so they should have already reviewed.
Do you want to hear Mr. Sheriff McClure first?
Not really.
Okay. Make him sit.
Yeah. Sheriff, why don't you take it?
I would like to, in the retirement of Keith, two things. We're having a retirement coffee for him in the conference room on August 19th from 2:30 to 4:30. We got some notices posted around the courthouse, there's one down in the break room. We have sent that out to the media and invited our surrounding counties. I would like to promote Scott Brower to Chief Deputy.
What time was that?
2:30 to 4:30.
2:30.
Yes. I would like to promote Scott Brower to Chief Deputy. Scott Brower has served as the captain for the last 6 years and the jail administrator 6 or 7 years. And then I want to move Brian Herrick into the captain's position. Brian's been in the sheriff's office over 15 years. He serves primarily as our investigator, but he also does patrol duties, and he would be in charge of the communications center, civil division, and some of the other committees that Keith was on. So I guess I'm asking the board for your approval to make these adjustments.
You need that in the form of a motion? Or is that just a report that we accept?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should probably make it.
Well, I'll move to accept Sheriff McClure's recommendations about department promotions.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. All ayes.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Should we go ahead and
Now.
phone call now?
Phone call.
I'll do it on.
He's trying to find the corrector. Will they tell us this morning? Update that.
Is this going to go to Judy or to the boardroom?
That's the auditor's office.
Auditor's office, this is Robin.
Hi, Robin. This is Rick Heck from Sac County Board of Supervisors. We are to call the board today about a levy for a drainage district, and we would like to be put in touch with them if you would.
Okay, just a second, Rick.
Thank you.
Scott Brower, what?
Chief Deputy.
Now that you say that, I don't know if I have
And Brian,
I don't know. We need to-
promoted captain.
I think
Judy
we just
probably has it under lock and key.
1-800.
Does this allow a floating?
$800.
$800.
Yep.
Okay.
Zach?
Yeah, hi Judy, this is Rick Heck from the SAC Board of Supervisors.
Okay.
We're calling today about setting a levy on Joint Drainage District 44 and 182.
Okay, we've got Dean White here, senior. We've got Gary Nicholson. Scott Jacobs is absent. And also present is our drainage clerk, Wayne Ellis.
Okay. We have Supervisor Bensley, Supervisor Stock, Renee Rowland, our clerk, and Auditor Jim Dowling, and 2 members of the press. And you are on speakerphone.
Okay, you are controlling county, so you'll be taking the minutes.
Yeah. So we need a motion to set the chairman and the recording secretary.
I'll make a motion, Rick Heck be chairman, and Renee would be secretary, recording secretary.
Motion has been made to have Rick Heck serve as chair and Renee Rowland serve as recording secretary. Is there a second?
I second it. Dean Clark.
Thank you, Dean. It's been moved and seconded.
All I do.
Okay.
All
Call for the question. All ayes here. We'll go ahead and move forward then with our business. We have Joint Drainage District 44 and 182, and we need to set a levy on that district. We have information in front of us. I hope you guys do as well. We have not levied on that since 1988, and we have an outstanding deficiency, including an $800 sinking fund, and we would need to, or hope to levy for $3,920.42. That would equate to a 63% levy. Is there any discussion on the issue?
That's not going to leave you much to work with, only $6.
No, that's a sinking fund of $800.
Okay, all right, I see that.
Okay. So I think that should be adequate. Does anyone have any concerns or different ideas about what the sinking fund should be, or any difference in numbers?
No comment here.
Okay. With that being said, then I would entertain a motion to move forward with a 63% levy.
Dean will make a motion.
Dean?
Yeah, I make a motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Dean Stock made the second. I will then call for the question. We're going to levy a balance of $3,920.42, which would equate to a 63% levy.
And the assessment's not paid by September 30th of the delinquent, and it's due and payable by September 30th. You want it with taxes?
Is that the intent? Renee?
Because of the 63% levy, the rounding actually brings
Okay.
it.
I misquoted the actual cash number. With the rounding, it becomes $3,926.44. Judy raised the question as to whether we want this to go out with this set of taxes. We do, Judy.
That's fine, that's what we're going to do, so we get right on it.
Okay. I already called for the questions. Okay. With the corrections of the dollar balance, I think we're good to go, and we will send them out for this taxation period. Any other business?
I'll make a motion.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
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 All I do.
All ayes here. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Have a nice day.
You too. Have a good day.
Yep.
Thank you, Rick.
Thanks, Renee, for straightening me out there.
Well, it's just,
But, you know, it's a difference of $6.02.
Is that the one that's clear up?
It's clear down in the corner. Clear down in the very south.
it's in like section 36 of Coon Valley, and then section, just the very top portion of section 1. Section. There is another sheet the drainage assessments that I guess I'm asking for this year. The top one, there's kind of grayed out. You'll see that that was the one we just approved. There are a few other ones.
Can they be all voted on at the same time, or have to go each one separate?
We can do them all.
Can't we if we just name them?
Yeah. Well, just whoever makes the motion, just approve this list of levies.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll list them out.
DD60's got a pretty good size.
DD60 had, that was part of that, well, it includes the very south side of Wall Lake. The last levy on that was in 2003, and that was a repair that was done, a cleanup, I think, that was done on that ditch. I think part of the issue is that I don't think enough was levied at that point.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
We didn't levy enough.
Okay.
Some of that is
Well, they came in
outstanding
and
yet
did some
from-
rip-rap.
There are a couple other, smaller projects that have happened, not a couple $1,000s here and there, but a good portion of that was that there was not enough levy after that cleanup in 2003. So that's why that is such a large amount. The other ones are just maintenance
Very
repairs.
small, yeah.
Yeah.
That one caught my eye because it was so big.
Is there a motion then to approve the drainage assessments on these districts?
Also move.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All ayes. The drainage assessments have been approved for the list of the districts.
Now, these are gonna be
Those are all
out
going to go out.
September 1st.
Yep.
And they are ready to go. Has our tax run been done?
They're starting,
That's what they're,
they're working on it right
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
A couple weeks ago, we had a public hearing on our supervisor redistricting. We were supposed to, in that, as part of that process, we have to have a public hearing on that ordinance that establishes those districts. And so that's what you see down there at the bottom of the agenda, is that we need a public hearing for that supervisor district ordinance.
We approved the plan, now we gotta set the hearing.
We have a time period, you're gonna publish that? It's
It
published.
has to be published within no less than 10 or more than 20 days prior to the hearings.
Do you have a date in mind?
I do, and I want to talk to you about that. We talked about a public hearing for the reorganizing our precincts. I have a previous engagement that Wednesday night. If we could, if there's another date that we could, September 7th and 8th, I have something else going on that day. September 5th is Labor Day.
Originally set it for the 7th.
Yeah. And we haven't sent that notice out yet because it has to be within a certain time.
Well, the next Wednesday is Sac County League, or the next, yeah, we had it on Wednesday night here. The next Wednesday night, the 14th, is the Sac County League. So that,
Could we have it
September
Tuesday?
13th is school election. We'll be busy that day.
Could we do it the night of the 6th?
Yeah.
The only thing was that if anybody would be gone over the Labor Day weekend, that would extend into, but most folks are back to work on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think.
I think 6 would work.
It's fine.
Same time? 7 PM.
Yeah. I need a motion to reschedule that public hearing, and then we can also do that public hearing for
The districts.
for that ordinance.
At that,
Yeah.
during supervisor's meeting day or at night?
Either one. Either
Why don't
one.
we do it during the day?
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
So then we should do two different motions. I'll move to make our hearing date for the precinct discussion reorganization on September 6th at 7 PM.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye,
Opposed, nay. All ayes, motion carried. At what time?
7 PM.
7 PM. And then we need to set a public hearing date, or time for the redistricting.
We can do that during the regular board meeting.
Yeah.
And
I'll make a motion that we set the public hearing for the supervisor district boundaries or for 10:30 Tuesday, September 6th.
Okay. I'll second that motion.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. All ayes. Public hearing will be on the redistricting for supervisors district will be at 10:30 on the 6th.
I laid a copy of this letter we got from the DNR with 3 concerns on the Schultz property over there. Did you guys all get that?
Are they on our desk out there?
Yeah.
I think I had the original one.
I've got the
Oh, here it
original
is.
now.
Yeah.
They weren't quite so anxious to drop that to a no action required status, but instead they would accept a low risk classification from what it is right now in
My interpretation of the letter was that Tri-Leaf didn't give them
They
the
didn't-
information that they,
There was 2 wells, they never gave the.
Yeah, and I talked to that guy, and we can call that Eric McCullough. Is that his name? Muggenberg. Eric Muggenberg. He has an explanation for those 3 issues, and he's willing to visit with you folks, but he is going to contact the DNR and explain how he arrived at his recommendation and to argue those 3 points.
because, I mean, when we got the letter that first day, when I read it over a couple times, and it as it was written here, they were only going to give the low risk classification because of issues that Tri-Leaf didn't provide to them.
Right.
That's what I got out of it.
But he's of the opinion that he did supply that information to the DNR. So I'll let him defend himself if you want to call him.
You have that
Yep.
number available?
Let you do the phone number. Not up to it.
Who are we asking for, Jim? Eric?
Eric Muggenberg.
Yeah, it's right there.
Hello, this is Eric Triley.
Hi, Eric. This is Sac County Board of Supervisors. We're calling you about concerns of a letter that we received from the DNR and wanted to discuss the issue with you and see how we're going to resolve it.
Yes, I've been working on that. That's where do you want to start?
Well, when we read the letter, we interpreted it as they're indicating that they didn't have the information in several categories that would allow them to give us the classification that we're wanting. And of those, there was one well not being reported, and there were several others. I'd have to read it closely, but there were about three different things that they're indicating that Tri-Leaf didn't provide, and that's why they didn't allow us the.
Yeah, there's, for number one, the pet water line evaluation, there's two ways to do it. There's 200 feet from most current, or you can go back to tier 2 portion of the software and do the closest receptor. Well, I did within 200 feet because there is nothing within 200 feet. But I guess the reviewer didn't see it that way.
Eric, when you say there's nothing within 200 feet, what do you mean?
There's no water line that's high risk.
Okay.
As for BH6, that's what they're worried about. That's the only one that they're really worried about. MW12 was in the monitoring plan for the Spark system. That's why it was sampled back in 2007. It hasn't been sampled since because it didn't need to be. And the other thing is we tried looking for it and we couldn't locate it. And what was it?
When you left here last, I thought we had the understanding that if you couldn't find it, that you were going to re-drill it to sample. That was the way I remember it.
That's for MW5.
Okay.
BH6 was BH6. The sample that is elevated was a sample that was collected in 1990. It was right when the tank room, or when they were investigating the very initial investigation. And that was never a well in the first place. It was just a boring where they collected water out of.
How do we resolve this to get to the release classification? I mean, this has been going on and on and on, and we thought we had it completed, and now we don't.
I thought so too. Well, the only thing I could think of, and I'll go and I'll talk to Bruce about this, I think the only sample that we need to do is collect from a BH6, so install a well at that location. Because there's nothing within 23 feet. She says that two different locations. The closest sample is 53 feet, which is a valid sample, and then 23 feet was MW12. So basically it sounds like they just want a sample from a BH6.
Are you going to go ahead and move this along as quickly as you can?
Yeah, I'm in the process of writing a proposal. I'm working on the maps right now for that, for deficiency number 1. As for 2, I'm not sure where replacement for MW302 is for.
So I assume that you've got to talk to them to get specific direction then, and that's what you intend to do?
Yeah, because it doesn't sound like there's no really good reason for having deficiency number 2. Number 3 is just stating that they accept the reclassification of the acreage of the groundwater source due to environmental covenant for the institutional social tendency. And that the only sample that needs to be collected is the H6 because it exceeds the pathway for space, but all the others do not.
Well, after you've visited with the person necessary at DNR, will you send an auditor an email to tell us how you're moving forward? Because we want to get this done.
I agree.
Any other questions from anybody? Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks again, Rick.
I'm going to keep that one with the phone number on it.
Do you have anything else? Does anybody have anything? And then the engineer will be there, that's all.
I haven't heard from him, but
Somebody's coming. I had some contact about on N14 where they messed the concrete up so bad. It's really, really rough, and there's nobody around there, and so those holes aren't getting taken care of. Don't let me forget to say something to the engineer, because they are getting bad, and people are swerving out and around. And
I haven't been up that way in a while. Is it both decks up?
the last time, it's been a little while since I've been there, but the last time they had one of them completed, and then they were working on putting, so they could very well have the second deck done, but I'm not certain of that. So, but it's there's two different spots. One where they crushed it when they went back and forth with excavators and cats, and then the second one is a bigger stretch, and there's big divots in the ground there, and it's dangerous. So,
Have you seen a lot of pop-ups on gravel roads, or cement roads?
not lately. Have you? Yeah. We're at.
Oh, let's see, south of Lakeview on, was that
68.
Okay, that's
There's some rough spots.
Yeah, I was on that this morning.
That's the only one I've heard.
N14 has some bad, but those are going to be in our concrete repair patching. There's places in it that are sizes of half the table that they've tried to put cold fill in, and 10 minutes later it's pushed out.
It's on N28, but not in Sac County, it's further north on my way to Lorenz. I don't know if that's
Pokey probably.
Pokey probably.
Yeah.
Did you go down 71 north of Storm Lake?
Yeah. North of Storm Lake, yeah, I went all the way to Spirit Lake.
There are a lot of pop-ups on.
Yeah, I feel, boy, getting the motorcycle and pop that front end, come out from under me a couple times.
Yeah, that's a new rug,
Boy,
and I've been told there's quite a bit, which is kind of.
they're rough.
And that was a pretty nice surface.
It's a brand new, and the real white intersect there right away.
I think we'll recess until the engineer gets there.
County crews placing aggregate on shoulders, road shoulders along M43, laying gravel roads, spraying trees within the right of way in Sac and Iowa townships, installing driveways in Levy, Eden, Douglas Township, repairing road culverts in Cedar Township, investigating partially plugged tile in Coon Valley Township, section 19. Project update. Bridge project on M35, the road got open last week. Contractors got some riprap. Let's see, I think some riprap left the place and some seeding to do. And the twin metal pipes, Wheeler 2227, contractor got that road open last week also. And he's got a little bit of riprap to place and some seeding to do on that one too. On the pre-seed pasture project, that's left. Got the contract back. Along with the bond. And you need to have the board approve, having the chairman sign the contract and the bond for that project.
I'll make the motion to have the chairman sign the contract and the bond for the patch and repair projects.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All ayes. Motion carried.
copy.
South of Neil next.
It just says in section.
There's got 4, okay, we'll assign 3. Like the same call then. Give them the law, then sign. Sign that one. We're gonna do the last one. Highway 20 update. 220 is closed over there by 71. And Yankee is closed for a couple of weeks. Quincy is closed. Originally said it wasn't going to reopen, but now they're talking about possibly reopening it for a while. I guess I'm not sure why. Unless it's because when they close Perkins, it'll give people a way to get around. And I did call after I put this together this morning and said that we want to close Otter for about a week, starting tomorrow. They'll have,
Where's Otter?
right next to M50, Needham's M50, and it'll be closed. He said this morning they were waiting for some pipe to get made, but he thought that grading would get done maybe the end of next week. I don't remember, I can't remember what they told me about when they thought they'd have that open. I guess they didn't give me the time. There was some discussion at our meeting last week about whether they were going to surface that with concrete or surface it with asphalt. And, because there was a change with the resident construction engineer, that Laura Sievers and Tony Babcock, I think was his name, were both doing part of the work, but they appointed Tony Babcock, the construction engineer out of Cherokee, so now this project out here is his too, so I guess it goes through sort of a learning process with him since Laura's no longer going to be involved. So I asked him at the meeting the other day what they were going to surface that with, because Laura had talked about surfacing it with concrete. But I wanted to get thinking about that and decide what they're going to do so that when they get it graded, they can go ahead and try to get it paved right away and get it back open. If it's going to be open, if it's going to be closed for quite a while, then after they get it graded, before they surface it, I'm going to try to get them to open it for that time period if it's more than a week or so. M50. I mean, my guess is right now it's going to be September for, if they go ahead and get graded, the granular surfacing on, and then hard surface to be September before they get that done. I don't know how quick they're going to be able to get a contractor in to do the asphalt or the concrete.
And so that'll just be temporary anyway, right? Or do you think they'll do it?
Well, yeah, it's going to be temporary for at least a year and a half. But yeah, it'd actually be temporary for,
Won't they put the stop signs there?
no,
They won't.
if we can get it, if they can get it, they hadn't get done any design curve on that yet, but if they can get it says, reduce speed ahead or something, but they'd be able to drive it basically pretty close to full speed. Now, what Laura had looked at was wondering whether they could pave, part of that vertical curve there with concrete and have to throw away just a section in the middle when they come back to do it. Whether that's what they'll still do or not, I don't know. They didn't, the other day when we met, they didn't know, so.
Speaking of the concrete, I had contact over the weekend, and I drove it myself too. It was the N14. There seems to be no activity there, and it's
Holes been filled?
oh yeah. There's people are now starting to swerve off, and instead of taking their direct line to miss these holes, and it's not good.
Oh, and you're talking about right there by the bridge?
By the bridge, yeah. Now, are they gone from there now?
At the meeting last week, they said that they'd pulled off that job for a couple weeks. With really hot weather, they don't like to pour bridge decks when it's that hot, and I think they must be getting close to ready to pour it, and they didn't want to pour it.
Well, they've got part of it poured, just
The north one is poured, yeah. The south one, I don't think they
Okay.
poured that deck yet. But I'll tell them that, I'll get a hold of the inspector and tell them that either the DOT or they need to get something like Jefferson back there to get those holes back full. Otherwise, I did see that they moved some additional equipment in on N28, the paving contractor has, and he's actually moved his trimmer in, and the trim looked like a short section going east.
They were on the west side trimming this morning.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen, or haven't been up there, I guess.
It's really,
How much of the plant they got ready?
Haven't seen any of them. Well, they've got a
what is
hopper
that?
type section. I think they drive over and dump the rock and the sand.
Saying all the different components of the concrete.
Where's it come out? Then
Well, I
they
assume
go
they
on
must
the
have
east
a-
or west on the.
There's a conveyor underneath it.
I assume there's like 3 conveyors. There'd be one for sand, one for rock, and
So they did a dirt berm up on both sides of this deal and did it
it's
with
like a
cats.
quick buried a semi in the center.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
They've got that much in, but I haven't seen the plant, anything of the plant yet.
They must be getting close if they're trimming.
Yeah. Again, they're a big company. They got lots of work at different places, and so I think it's going to depend on what gets ready when. Last Wednesday, he still wouldn't give me an idea of when the plant was going to get there.
That after that trim runs over it, it looks about as smooth as this tabletop.
Yeah,
They're just grinding it. That's
spits the dirt off to the side.
And then they put down some clean gravel.
Yeah, 8 to 10 inches of limestone. I think when they trim it, it's not a true crown. I think they trim it with a sort of offset to one side. And so the granular area in there to put in is thickest probably in the middle, and then it's a little thinner on the one lane, thicker on the other lane. I don't know why exactly they do that. Whether it's to give the base drainage before they get the rock on in case of the rain, I guess I'm not sure. It shed more water, I think, to the outside where they trim. We talked last week a little bit about that governor's transportation meeting coming up. The engineers had several engineers get together, a couple of them that had been in the first 2 meetings that Citizen Advisory Commission has had, council I should say. And they do have a website out there where you can go to the DOT website and go to the governor's transportation 2020, and it gives the minutes there from the first two meetings they've had. But the guys from the engineers organization that attended came up with this list of talking points that they feel need to be talked about at those meetings, 7 meetings they're having throughout the state. And whatever you could be passed on to them as far as, personal issues with roads and et cetera. Point 1 there, all those rural populations declining. We still got people living out there in agribusinesses that are using our road more intensely than they have before. Especially with the livestock facilities out there. Point 2 there, the guys that went to the meeting said that the county engineers were the only one that had put the numbers together as far as what they felt it would take to maintain our system, secondary road system, not necessarily make it any better, but just keep it from getting worse. And they were estimating that to be 831,000. And in the next point, we get about 831 million.
I wish it were 831,000.
And in the last 8 years, it's averaged about 680 million per year, so we're short about 150 million per year to, just to keep our system from getting any worse. I think some of the information that I saw come out, and I can't remember within the minutes, from one of their meetings, but they're talking about I think it was 215 million. And that just happened to be what a 10-cent gas tax would raise.
I know they're talking in roughly 150 million short, but the point that I see that's missing here is the fact of inflation of road materials and asphalt in particular, that our buying power has gone down dramatically. I don't see that.
Well, in the last point, they talked about that it should be pointed out that any new funding, whether full or partial, needs to be designed to grow at a 4.6% per year to keep up with the cost.
But I still think the elephant in the room is the fact that when oil raised, that asphalt and a lot of other things, including tire maintenance, all those doubled. And I don't see anything directly talking about our buying power shrinking dramatically in the last 5 years.
That's a good point. Besides the point they put together here, there are other. Well, another point that I think, to me, that they didn't. I was thinking it was in here, but I wasn't sure it was very well. Well, it's in that last paragraph. They recommend that all new funding be distributed at the 47.5%, 32.5%, 20% split for state, county, and cities. Realizing that the time 21 meeting money was split 60-20-20, but it had a cap on there. I think it was like 220 million or something, and then it would go back to the old formula.
It's 225.
Yeah,
that's what the supervisors think so.
And that's real critical that they don't, that is talked about and they don't mess with that. If we could actually get a fuel tax increase, and we could actually come up with less money than we had before if we changed the split. So I did pass this. I guess I didn't pass this sheet out because we just talked about engineers and supervisors, but I didn't pass the sheet out. But I did talk to the Sac County Farm Bureau last night. And I know they got an email that they sent out to their members encouraging them to attend these meetings. And they do have DOT does have a website location where you can get online and give your comments too. And then I couldn't remember if I getting to this.
Yeah, I did just last week.
That page too, I couldn't remember if I getting to that page or not. But it talks down the last paragraph there, it talks about written testimony, if you want to write it and send it in, if you weren't able to attend.
Get that application, you can come back on my version.
Oh, you got your everything, okay. I realized I hadn't given it to Calhoun this morning, so I made them a copy, and then I couldn't remember if I was giving it to you guys. But I am planning to go to that meeting in Storm Lake on August 31st. I should call that, what's her name?
And Trimble Ray.
Ann Trimble Ray. She's on that
Yeah.
commission. I should call and visit with her a little bit too, just to get, since she's been to the meeting, she's got some insights on some points of distress too. Last thing I had was we got this bill from DOT for testing that was done on our project VRS CO 81 Parent 58. That's the twin box culverts up there on M43. That was done last year. I don't know why they're always so slow sending there. But that $960 would come out of it and take that direct out of the farm market fund in Ames.
Need a
They
motion.
test them, did they?
Well, it's tests that they ran during the project.
Oh, the cement test.
Yeah.
They're just getting around to
They're
building
just getting
now.
around to building. I don't know what it always takes them. On the concrete, they do a sieve analysis to make sure that the gradation is right. They do what they call an abrasion to make sure the stone doesn't break down. And then they do specific gravity absorption on the coarse aggregate, Portland cement test, fly ash test, and they test the reinforcing steel too.
I'll move to approve the paying of the bill to Iowa DOT for testing.
I'll second that.
If something would fail in what they're inspecting, is that gonna be our responsibility, or does it fall back to them being they approved it?
Well, the tests were run back
Yeah.
before the work was done, or right
Right.
at the time the work was done. If something was out of test, then the construction manual gives you, depending how far out, sometimes it's just a cost or price adjustment on the, like on the concrete, if the cement was out of spec. But most of that stuff they test before, so basically the contractor, or the supplier has tested it, and DOT is just testing it to confirm that it is testing okay. But there would be a price adjustment, yeah, if some test would fail. Again, it's part of the federal requirements that I guess the feds don't trust the contractor.
Call for the question.
All in favor, I think say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All ayes, motion carried. And contract is signed. Thank you.
I guess that's all. All I can do.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you, Ron. Does anybody else have anything?
Do you guys have a copy of that contract?
I would move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.